I hate when. Well, look, we could look at some more pictures. It'll pop up to me. Yeah, yeah, you look really nice. What's your height?
My height.
Yeah,
Well, that's interesting because I always thought I was 5'5.5".
yeah.
When they measured me at the nationals, the last show, they measured me in at 5'3". I thought
I
surely I'm
didn't know
going to
you don't look that. You don't look that short.
no. Well, I'm wearing some heels there for figure.
Yeah,
That
silly
was
me.
my
I'm a
part
silly
of
rabbit.
my
Yeah,
figure part there.
yeah.
But they measured me at 5'3", and I I thought that was interesting because when I got home, I measured myself again, and I was over 5'4", at least 5'4 3/4". So that's
Mm,
where I'm at, around there somewhere.
mm. Do you have like just knowing about the sport? Are there like anybody that you follow or like
Oh yeah,
inspire you a bit?
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because that's another reason why I got back into bodybuilding as I started to do my own research for my body recomp. Of course, I'm on social media, so I started coming across some competitors, and there's several, and I still find them like every time I scroll. There's certain ones that I just latch onto. I just really admire their not just their physique, but their spirit and the message that they put across, the way they look at the sport of bodybuilding and how they encourage others. Um, and just their comments, and their posts are very, very helpful and inspirational. So yeah, there's a few, and not necessarily all in the physique division. There's one that's in the wellness um, division, and her story is like, I wouldn't say it's similar to mine. I'd say that I'm a bit similar to her in that 5 years ago she also won a transformation challenge, and now she's winning national level wellness division almost at every turn, and it's probably just a matter of time before she gets her pro card.
Okay.
Can
Yeah.
I say her name?
Of course you can.
Her name's her name's Jillian Parker. Jilly Parker. She's
Sure.
wonderful. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
She does her own training, and she does.
Do you guys talk or
We talk. Well, I met her a couple times in person. Yeah, we've
oh, that's
got
cool.
a stage, but mainly on Instagram. But
Oh,
yeah, she does training and teaches posing as well for the wellness girls.
oh,
But she was one of my very first inspirations.
that's
And
good.
there's another Canadian. Her name's Amber Larson, and she's in physique, and think she's based out of Alberta. And she was also probably one of the first physique competitors that I found online when I got back into it. And
Oh.
she's also a wonderful person too. She's very, very inspirational.
Are you familiar with Melanie Horton?
Say the name again. Sorry,
Melanie Horton.
Melanie
She's
Horton.
a women's bodybuilder. She's a IFBB pro. She lives in Canada, but there's
Okay.
there's Canadians that are IFBB pros and stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm not familiar with her name. I may have come across her post, but I'm not familiar with her
Yeah.
name.
Well, I just thought Canadian, but but you're in another organization. Yeah, you're natural. She's not maybe. You
Open.
know,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
yeah. Like how would you like educate somebody in the sport of bodybuilding? Because bodybuilding it's not like a mainstream sport. There's always assumptions and
Yes.
it's an extreme sport where people don't understand. 'Cause for instance, there were moments where I just didn't understand it. Like why is it like this way? Like
Yeah,
what does
yeah.
this mean? Like these terminologies and
Right,
you
right.
know
Yeah, well, all those things you said are true. I mean, it can be very extreme and misunderstood. But I think the number one thing, I mean, that I always um, say is just how important weight training itself is, especially for women of a certain age, in a certain stage of life. And I've been approached many times at the gym. You know, the women they see me working in there, and they've seen my results because they saw, you know, who I was in January and who I am now. And you know, they come up and they want to talk and find out what I'm doing and whatnot. But you know, I always the first thing I always say is the weight training is so much more, I feel, important than the cardio. You're just going to transform your body when you lift weights. You don't have to lift heavy weight. You're not going to turn into some gargantuan, you know, muscle bound body. Um, but what you are going to do is gain strength and flexibility and mobility, you know, as long as you stretch and take care of your body before and after, and work on all of that as well. Um, and you know, you're going to increase your metabolism, and the rate at which you burn calories at rest is so important because all of that slows down as we age and we enter into certain stages of our lives. And so that's always the first thing I say. And you know, just to start, even if you have to start with your own body weight, you can progress from there. Yeah, and I do, you know, I give a few little pointers out about, you know, how to progress, and you know, you need to start, you know, lifting weight progressively and working up toward it, and proper form and technique and all of that. And then I also talk about nutrition, of course, and I just think it's really important for anybody who's getting into a fitness regime to do the work of um, of researching and informing themselves, because there's just, I mean, everybody has a phone now at their fingertips, and you can go online and there's just so much that you can find out for yourself about, you know, not just about counting calories, but about macros and, you know, what kind of carbs
Yeah,
to take in, and protein and whatnot.
yeah.
So yeah, I always kind of
Yes,
start there.
yeah. Sometimes I do that. Like if I don't understand some things, I just kind of I Google. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, especially with
yeah.
the bulking. I remember I asked somebody about that. You know, I wasn't like I didn't fully understood, but then I started understanding, you know, the amount of calories the person takes and stuff. And yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah,
Well, and everybody's different too. So that's the other thing, right? You know, you won't necessarily get the same results that I may have gotten doing exactly what I did. You've got to find what works for you. So that's another good point to bring up too, is that, you know, you have to work at your own pace and find what works for you. And not everything is going to be the same for every person, right? So,
right.
yeah.
When you was doing figure, like when you first just started like going back to bodybuilding, like how was you like preparing for your show, like in terms of being on stage in front of people? Were you nervous?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very well. It's interesting, because I've realized this about myself, and it's almost the same every, like, not that I've done many shows, but every show that I've done, it seems very surreal. Like I don't even realize that I'm going to be up on that stage until I'm backstage, just moments before I get on the stage. And then that's when it all hits me. And that's when the nerves start. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because it comes piling on, right? To the point where I just have to, you know, really regulate my breathing and calm myself down, kind of thing. Um, but so that's the immediate reaction. But yeah, I think for me, I think the most important thing in terms of, if what you were asking was like,
Were you nervous, like in like I would say your first show, or even like in January when you first started? Like, were you too? Was you anxious? Like too anxious? Yeah, I mean, I
well,
think you answered it. Like you try to like try to breathe and try not to get
yeah,
nervous.
yeah. Well, I again, before I even went backstage, I was sitting in the audience
Yeah,
watching the other competitors because I wasn't the transformation challenge wasn't going to be introduced until just before or just after intermission, so halfway
yeah,
through the evening program. And so I was sitting in the audience cheering on the competitors on stage and just not even really thinking about my time on the stage until it was time for me to go backstage and get my suit on and get ready. And, so by get ready, I'm like pump up a little bit, get some blood flow into my muscles, whatever. And the great thing about that first experience for me was that my son was at that competition with me. He flew down. He flew down to be there. He said there was no way he was going to miss his mom on stage for the first time, which I'm so grateful for. But he ended up surprising me with a backstage pass. He had went out and got himself a backstage pass so that he could coach me backstage, and that made all the difference in the world because I was like a deer in the headlights when I got backstage, and it was very surreal because all the bodybuilders were back there, all in various states of readiness, and it was like pure. I don't know. It was like nothing I'd never ever experienced before. My son, having done bodybuilding two competitions before me, kind of knew what to expect back there. So he literally took me by the hand and got me to the point where I was just, I wouldn't have known what to do with myself. And he kind of walked me through the motions to the point where I had my little, black dressing gown on over my suit. And he says, "Mom, it's time to take the robe off."
yeah. I mean, yeah,
Have to get comfortable backstage here if you're, in your suit before you even hit the stage, and I'm like, "Oh no, I know, you're right." So he just got me pumped up, and he got me the final carbs in me, and he just got me feeling comfortable being exposed, in my suit like that. And it just made all the difference for me, that first experience. So I'm
yeah.
really grateful to him for that. So yeah, when you say, are family and friends important? Are they there for you? Absolutely. They make
Yeah,
all the
that's good. That just your son. Yeah, it was there for you. I mean, he knows how you feel because he's competing, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, he made it a wonderful experience, that first one. And yeah, yeah. But like I said, that's something that I personally feel I need to work on is just stage presence and confidence. But I've been doing it for 7 months, 8 months. I'm still a newborn, really. So that's why I think, yeah, like just having multiple experiences on stage, it's a good thing. It gives you a chance to learn more, to experience being on the stage, and just developing a stage presence and confidence. I think it's key. And that for me, just going back to something I wanted to touch on was just how important it is. Just if you're going to be in heels, if you're in a division, figure on down to fit model where you're in heels, um, practice walking in your heels,
yeah.
practice
I,
standing in your
yeah,
heels.
yeah.
I
I'm glad
mean,
you covered that.
oh, being in until I'd done it myself, I just gained such a level of respect for the girls up there posing, holding it all together, holding it all in, and posing and walking the heels. It's you can't imagine how difficult it is just watching them up there. But not only that, but also posing itself. learn how to pose. Learn how to pose for your physique, because you can have the best physique up there, but if you can't showcase it, it's really going to reflect in your placings and your confidence on stage too.
Yeah.
So that's something I need to work on a lot, is my posing. I'm very new to all of that too. So
Mm.
some bodybuilders pose every day, regardless of whether they're, heading towards a competition or not. I think it's a pretty good practice myself, even
Yeah.
if it's only 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But
I know women's physique, they have like 4 poses, right? Like they
well,
have
go ahead. The
they have
CPA, they have
the
the five
CPA.
mandatory. They have 5 mandatory poses. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the IFBB as well.
Yeah.
Um, the front double bicep, the back double bicep. We've got the side chest, the side tricep, and the ab and thigh. Those are the 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it's there's just so many different little nuances and little tweaks and just ways to hold yourself, and tips and whatnot. And again, like, everybody's body is different. So, what one tweak works for somebody may not work for the other. So it's really very personal, and just takes a lot of practice. And the actual holding of the poses itself is a very strenuous activity. Sometimes it feels more strenuous than actually weightlifting.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard.
Yeah,
I've heard.
yeah,
So
you're
much
very,
more.
like, I get very, very sore after a good posing practice session, because you're just
Mm.
really tensing everything up.
How long
But
you do it for?
well, it depends on what your coach is wanting you to do, because a lot of that takes energy as well, time and energy. So I think, in the earlier days, probably posing a little bit more, but then they do like to tweak it down as you get closer to the prep date, so you conserve your energy and you don't stress your muscles out too much. I don't know. I think it's probably a personal thing, for depending on where each bodybuilder is at and how their level of experience, I guess. But even 15 minutes a day, I don't think would be, too much.
Mm. Mm. That's cool. Like for like working out, like I think I know you talked about that you're working on some things, but what are the things that particularly you need to work out?
For myself,
Yeah,
just,
like
well,
body parts, like
yes.
certain body
Okay.
parts.
Yes. Yes. So I did get some judges' feedback, and yeah, I wasn't surprised to learn of
Um,
some of the improvements I need to make, being so new. But particularly for my division in physique, looking for the X frame, more cap shoulder, like more mass gaining in general in my whole shoulder area. So particularly front and rear. When I get going, my delts are, they're there, but they need a little extra work. And a little more width and depth in my back, and a little more quad sweep in my thigh. But so far, that's kind of what I need to work on. I need to make some mass gains there.
and you told me
Mhm.
that you're retired, like outside of bodybuilding. What do you do, like during the day, like just
Yeah.
to keep your mind calm and because the way I see bodybuilding, it can be stressful too
Mhm.
at a certain point. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
for
just
sure.
asking. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So for me, my personality is I'm kind of an all or nothing. Like, when I jump into something, I jump, I'm all in. And maybe for this last little